Trae. Come on, it's the day with Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a magnificent Menopause Monday, y'all. Of course, we got our Menopause Mentor Danyale Thomas in the building today, and y'all wouldn't guess this topic here. We are connecting menopause and money today. So I know that'll make your ears perk up. I'm so excited that she is back in the Black Media Matters studios joining me today so we can dive into this topic. But of course, it is the top of the show, so it's the best time for you to tag and share this show right here. Please share it with others who you feel could benefit from the daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on The Day with Trae. And you know, if you can't watch our show, you can still listen to us, all right? Just anywhere you find your favorite podcast, type in Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find us right there. So I like to say, for folks who may be driving, maybe you can't watch, maybe you love podcasts, you know, I'm so grateful to our podcast team for making sure we're on that platform. And before I get into it with Danyale today, I'm going to tell you, I am so filled. As my family grows, there is this interconnection that is happening with all of us. And it's so special. And some of you out there might know what I'm talking about, right? Like you get an addition to your family, and there's another reason to come together, right? We think about family celebrations, anniversaries, birthdays, all of that. And it's beautiful to be able to have these intergenerational moments where family comes together. So I'm so excited because my family kind of started on a new tradition this year, and we're loving to keep it going. We decided we're going to start going to opening nights for different movies, right? Like, we love movies in my family. We have this whole game that me and my siblings play all the time where we just quote films and people got to guess which film it is. A lot of the times, my brother, who's right underneath me, he gets everybody's guesses. Like he knows immediately what movie we're talking about. And for some of us, especially me, I ain't gonna lie, okay? It takes me a minute to remember. I used to be so good at this, but now I'm loving to see this happen with like my kids, right? So they're getting into the fold. But bringing your family together on these moments and times, finding those family traditions that resonate with everyone, that's really fun, right? And so when we're thinking about the fall, you know, a lot of times we're indoors, there's a lot of rain going on, but I'm encouraging you to find that new family tradition. What is it y'all want to embark on that, or something that you enjoy together, right? So I love making homemade popcorn. So even if we're not at the movies, sometimes when we are at the movies, okay, don't tell anybody, all right? So although I'm the one that makes the popcorn, I tried to call it world famous one time. And my son told me, Mom, world famous? And I was like, hey, there's nothing like your child that try to put you in place. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't cool. I think my popcorn's great and everyone was loving it. So I told him, back off, right? But I will say that it really has become something so fun to enjoy with family. And for me, who would have known that after all these years, we'd find something new or a new way to invigorate something we've always loved, which is watching movies together. There's so many great films that have come out. And me and my son just recently went to Venom. And I'm telling you, I'm such a fan of these storylines. But my son, my 10-year-old, so okay, my 18-year-old was the one that tried to call me on the popcorn. But my 10-year-old, he has found a new way for me to enjoy these amazing films that I love that have such a long backstory. He put me on to these YouTube videos that break down these stories and all of the comic connections. There's nothing like the comics, y'all, because they go back so far. And as a true fan, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Who understood when that character was introduced? That was in that comic in like 1967, and now it's coming back. I'm loving to explore these summaries that showcase to me all of these connections that some of them are new and some of them I already knew about. But I'm so thankful because as I explore family time during this fall, I'm getting in on some really cool tips. So I'm encouraging you all to explore that family time this fall. Have fun with your family, find new ways to enjoy things you love, and bring them in to the interests you have. Share theirs. It's fun. Well, after this break, y'all, we're going to get into some real fun, okay? Because we got our menopause mentor coming up next, Danyale Thomas. We're going to be talking all about menopause and money. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
There's something magical, alchemical about being an artist. Being able to create, mold, envision, enlighten. This is a wonderful task. That's why I do it. My name is Joyce J. Scott, and I'm having my 50-year retrospective walk a mile in my dreams. Come on down.
Disney and Cameron Mackintosh's Mary Poppins comes to life on stage at the Fifth Avenue Theatre, featuring Step in Time and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Make it a jolly holiday at Mary Poppins. For tickets, visit fifthavenue.org.
Have you heard? Everyone living in Washington State can buy health insurance regardless of immigration status. Call 1-855-923-4633 to find out your option through Washington Helpline Finder. The call is free, safe, and secure, and getting health insurance will not affect your immigration status. Give us a call today.
Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle is bringing a whole lot of star power to town as Taraji P. Henson and Hill Harper headline their 23rd annual breakfast happening November 22nd at the Seattle Convention Center Summit. Grab your tickets now at urbanleague.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, we got our menopause mentor, Danyale. What's up?
Hey, Trae.
How are you?
Girl, I'm always good.
I know that's right.
Mhm.
It's always a choice, right? And
It
we
is.
just get to choose to be good. Let's just choose
is.
it.
Choose a good day, choose feeling good. Yeah, what you say to yourself matters.
I love that. So
Mhm.
true. Well, you said today we're going to be talking about menopause and money. Now, you know, everybody's ears in here perked up. Tell us this connection.
You know, I have a profession around finances, and I don't think people put together there's a financial impact around menopause. So 1 in 4 women think about scaling back on their hours or leaving their job based on menopause symptoms,
Wow.
right? So either it's brain fog, just not feeling as confident, having hot flashes in the middle of everyone. So if they're in a position where they don't feel as though they can navigate their position, a lot of them think about scaling back. And the financial impact of that is less hours means that she's not making as much money. She's not able to put as much towards her retirement, not making as much money. She's not paying that much into her Social Security. And at this time, you think about the age range, women are usually at this special time where not only they're taking care of their children, but they're also probably supporting their parents. So the financial impact of her having to scale back while she's supporting all these people can be catastrophic to her.
Well, you know, it's so interesting because you're absolutely right. You know, not enough of that connection has been made. So I love that you are always coming with these new ways of understanding the impacts of menopause. Now, when we talk about folks getting ready for retirement, we are seeing nationally that people are working later and later and later in their elder years. And so there is a tremendous impact that's being felt by actual still working class women. I mean, they're still going to 9 to 5s.
They have to continue to work because we're living longer, right? So maybe we went into our jobs thinking that we needed a certain amount when we retired and realized that retirement used to be about 10 years, right? And now that we're living longer, we're looking at 20, 25 years of income that we're going to need once we stop working. And to be able to do that means you have to be strategic while you're working to have enough money accumulated to be able to support not only yourself, but also your parents, if that's what's happening, as well as the children that might still be at home.
Wow. I mean, you know, it's interesting because my mom and I were just having a conversation, and there's something about energy, right? Like you get a bit older and your energy is not the same, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. Of course, there's all kind of things you can be doing. You can eat whole foods, and I see a lot of 70, 80, even sometimes 90-year-old elders who they have just kept their body really in great shape. But even still, doesn't mean they don't slow down a little bit. That's a part of aging. And so it's interesting because when we think about the energy that you need on your job, that's also a part of this, right?
Yeah, definitely. And so then women are having to not only navigate menopause for themselves, but they're also putting money towards supporting their systems, right? So supplements, right? Maybe more medical treatments that they're needing. And a lot of insurance companies don't cover a lot of things that women need to support themselves during menopause. So that's out of pocket expense. So women are averaging thousands of dollars that they're trying to do to manage what's happening to them, what's going on for them. And at the same time, feeling as though they can't show up for their positions the way that they used to and generate income the way that they used to.
It's a lot. I mean, every time you are here, I'm learning so much more about things that I now need to get really prepared for. Because I think there's also a misnomer that, oh, I'll deal with that when I come across that
we
bridge.
got time. Yeah, time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in 30s, it's like, oh, that's a long ways away. And so I sit down and I talk to people all the time, and I'm trying to get to women younger and younger. Like I met this young woman who had just started with Microsoft. And one of the first things I asked her is, did you do your benefits package, right? Have you sat down and figured out what you're going to put towards retirement? She goes, I was just looking at it. And she goes, I was confused. I said, don't be confused. Do the maximum. So many times I talk to women in their 50s and they look back and think about the money that they could have been putting towards their retirement. They could have been investing at that time and realize the things that they thought they needed, right? The money they thought they needed in their pocket to look cute, to go on a travel trip, right? To whatever they thought they needed that money for, they realized that they really needed to be putting it someplace where it was growing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's just not, and sometimes I feel like there's just, maybe it's education, but also there's things that kind of pass down from generation to generation. And so I know for me, when I think about my maternal grandmother, right, like she didn't necessarily have retirement. I think, you know, she had some Social Security. She was like, okay, I'm just going to have to live off of this amount. But that also meant that she was living with my parents, and you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that we end up doing. Like you said, there's a certain age where you still got kids you're taking care of and possibly your parents. So there's a lot going on there, but the preparation is what's necessary. What can folks really think about when they're trying to prepare properly for this period of time?
Always take in consideration that you need to be putting money to the side for any health issues that can come up and to continue to support yourself while going through health issues. That's important. So having an emergency savings, being vocal, talking to your family about their need to continue to support themselves, as well as put into the overall pot of families being able to have a wealth mindset, right? That doesn't just rely on one person supporting the system. Speaking up at your job, letting them know that women who are aging need certain things as we age, and making it necessary for them to maybe consider the PTO, right? Consider added benefits that they can help with to support us even more. But also having a contingency plan, right? I think what you talking about, like the energy thing, is that our energy is so depleted from dealing with other people a lot of times. And women definitely at a certain age get that attitude, like they don't even care anymore. right? So having a contingency plan that can also be associated with freedom that also generates an income can be important as you age.
That is so special to be thinking about it in all those ways. And thank you for those amazing solutions, some ideas and options that people can take in, whatever works for them. But it's so interesting because I'm also in this mindset of how you start with something, you have a lot of energy and passion for it, and sometimes it wanes over time. And so keeping, yourself connected to something that always seems to give you purpose is also really key. I mean, just so many different changes. And I think we have to be giving ourselves grace, right? Because
Definitely.
we do change over time.
Definitely.
And those things that have been anchors for us in, certain decades of our lives might not be the same as we grow older. So there's a lot to consider here when we're talking about this period.
Definitely.
Well, this is the last time we get to see you this season, and I'm so grateful that you were here. Final words for you this season, Menopause Mentor.
Menopause Mentor, final words. I think you landed it, that having grace for ourselves, that life is a series of events and transitions, and having grace with ourselves and compassion for not only other people, but for ourselves personally, being best prepared and authentic and upfront about what's going on in your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Staying real with oneself.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Of course, if folks are trying to connect with menopause, mainstreaming menopause, look right there. Let me know how you do
So
it.
join us at Mainstreaming Menopause on Facebook. We are a private group, but I accept everyone. All women are welcome. And then you can always email me if you want to chat to mainstreamingmenopause@gmail.com.
Wow. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us. This is
Yeah.
always a pleasure. And who knew that we would be exploring so many facets of menopause? I mean, when we first had this conversation, I thought, okay, we're going to dive into the symptoms. And then every single month, you were coming back with more and more and more. Thank you so much for
Thank
everything
you.
you've done to make sure that this discussion is happening for women all over. So I just appreciate you
I
diving
appreciate the
into this
time.
and bringing it here to the Day with Trae.
My pleasure.
Wow. Y'all, I'm telling you, who would have thought that there was a connection with menopause and money? But we just heard it right there from our menopause mentor, Danyale Thomas, and some final words as well for all of you who have been taking these tips into practice. I get to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
A world of wonder awaits at Pacific Northwest Ballet's The Nutcracker. Treat your loved ones to the Northwest's favorite holiday tradition at Seattle Center's McCall Hall. Visit pnb.org.
Here on Back to Basa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region, and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Basa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Trae Holiday. We're teaming up with Public Health Seattle and King County to remind you that back to school time means making sure your kids are up to date on their vaccinations. Public Health Seattle and King County is offering free back to school vaccine clinics for kids ages 0 to 18 all fall. You heard that right? Free. No matter what your insurance situation is, they got you covered. Getting your kids vaccinated is the best way to protect them from serious diseases like measles, mumps, and whooping cough, and it's required for them to attend school or childcare. So call your health clinic pediatrician or doctor today to make sure your kids have all their required vaccinations. You can also visit kingcounty.gov/find-a-clinic to find a clinic near you. Let's work together to keep our kids healthy and in school. Peace. Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to Danyale Thomas for stepping into the role of our menopause mentor here on The Day with Trae. Who knew that we would be able to discover and explore so many different facets of menopause? It has been truly eye-opening for me, y'all. Of course, I'm a woman and I'm like, whoa, all the things that I have to either look forward to, I get to prepare for, and I get to now be more mindful of. You know, when you get that information and you go into a segment of your life with more informed thought, I'm telling you, there's so much more that you get to do to prepare yourself properly. And so I'm so grateful that she has been here and that she's done the research to understand all of these different connections when it comes to menopause. I'm telling you, who knew? So I'm so grateful for her. Also grateful for you for starting your week off with me. I get to wrap all this up today, but you know I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.